Good morning. This is Judge Alyssa Perez presiding over the 210th District Court Civil Docket for November 2nd, 2022. All matters being heard today are being heard in accordance with all emergency orders and directives regarding COVID-19. In addition to that, we are streaming all matters live via YouTube for public viewing. I'll let everyone know, it seemed like yesterday we had quite a bit of some kind of technical issues with audio. I don't think we ever identified what the cause was, but if anybody starts to have any issues, please let us know, okay? All right, Mr. Marufo, would you call our first case, please?
Top of page 1, Judge. In cause number 2022 DCV 0501 Cavalry SPI LLC et al. Versus Lily E. Carvajal. Announcement of council, please.
Benjamin Joseph Gutierrez on behalf of Calvary, ready to proceed on a motion for default judgment, Your Honor.
Okay, and do we have, I think this one has been pending proof of notice of the hearing to Ms. Cabral. Is anyone here on behalf of Ms. Cabral? No, and Mr. Gutierrez, what do we have? Because it looks like we've reset this. This is our third setting.
Yes, Your Honor. So this one, I'm double checking. The notion for hearing was sent to the defendant on September 28th. I think I double checked with the paralegal earlier this morning, and let me double check before I say that. And it was delivered on the 3rd of last month.
Okay, so October 3rd. Did you have some type of, was it a certified receipt returned, or what was it?
Yes, Your Honor. And I have I guess I can email to the court if the court wishes the tracking information on that shows through the Postal Service that it was delivered to an individual.
Please submit that.
Understood, Your Honor.
Please submit that along with your proposed order and you may proceed.
Understood, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, we're asking for redress in the amount of $4,515.82. This happens to do with the city Sears credit card that ends in 0100. The contract or line of credit was extended to the defendant back in March of 2015. It was assigned to the current plaintiff back in September of last year. We're asking the court take judicial notice of the entire file. Therein, there's a business records affidavit from Giovanni Rodriguez that attests to the account and also provides a bill of sale. There's last payment of May of 2018 and a charge-off statement from November of the same year. These statements were going to the same address the defendant was personally served this suit in March of this year. That's the same address that the notice of hearing went to and the certificate of last known address that's also in the motion. In addition, there's a non-active duty military status affidavit and related SACR information. We're asking for the aforementioned damages plus court costs and post-judgment interest, Your Honor.
And I will go ahead and grant the default, take judicial notice of the file. I have reviewed all of the exhibits or attachments to your motion for default. What I failed to see, Mr. Gutierrez, and we may, because this has been reset so many times, is the proposed order. So if you would please email that to Ms. Hernandez along with the proof of the notice for today's hearing, and we should be good to go.
Understood, Your Honor.
All righty, thank you very much. Do you have anything else today?
I have 2 more at 10:30, but I have a 10:15, so I'm going to put myself on mute and then.
We'll see you then.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Who's next?
Staying on page 1, Judge. In cause number 2020 DCV 4192 Victor M. Reyes versus Leona Cervantes. Announcement et al. Announcement of council, please.
Albert Beal here for Victor Reyes, Judge.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Beal. I did receive an email with a proposed decree, and I don't know, I think since you had recently come on this case, you were going to do some work. Have we had any contact with Leonila Cervantes or Gabriela Cervantes?
None, Judge.
Okay. Do we know anything? I mean, I don't really recall as long as the case has been pending. I feel like there was some contacts at some point. Do you know from your client, like what has transpired there?
No, I mean, if you want me to reset the, try to reach out to them and send them some notice of a hearing, I guess we can do that.
So what I have us down for today is just a status conference. So what I would like to do is set this for, let me see, what was the last thing?
Default was the last thing that I see on the docket.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear part of that. What was that?
The last thing I see on the docket was a hearing on a default, and my understanding was that the default was granted and was just pending an order.
Correct. You're right on that. And this decree is as I reviewed it, substantially, it's a little bit different than what I think was previously presented.
Judge, I'm talking to the people of the city and trying to partition that property in kind because separate gas meters, water meters, gas connections, that we're asking court to find that it's not susceptible to partition.
Okay. Yeah, I think everything that you've said is correct. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off on the decree that you've presented. And that should close us out. I don't think the previous proposed order was as clear as yours, Mr. Beal. So thank you for that.
For commissioners, I mean, if we were talking about a ranch with acres and acres of land, appointing commissioners to carve out half would be appropriate, I guess.
Okay. Well, for my purposes, I've signed off on the decree and that should close us out unless, is there anything else that you think might be outstanding?
Well,
think-
these partition cases go on forever. My order says the property gets sold. They go to the registry of the court and that there's appraisal. And so we'll be coming back to see, divide the funds that are deposited with the court.
I'm going to put you down for another status in 6 months. I don't know if that's too far down the road. I think that should be good enough for us. So a status in 6 months, okay?
If we get an appraisal and we get a contract for sale, we'll present that to the court. If it's approved, we can maybe take care of it sooner.
All righty, sounds good. Thank you, Mr. Beal.
Alrighty, thank
You're
you.
excused. Take care. Who's next?
Bottom of page 1, Judge. In 2019 DCV 3681, Jaime Martin Ramos et al. Versus Gustavo Cardenas et al. Announcement of council, please.
Jorge Lopez and Michael Hirsch on behalf of plaintiffs, Your Honor.
Alfonso Soto for defendants, Your Honor.
Good morning. So I have this down actually for a motion to compel hearing.
Yes,
And
Your
when
Honor.
I went back, and I just want to make sure, when I went back and I looked at all the entries and kind of just started to revisit everything that has been outstanding, that motion to compel was filed back in April of 2021.
Yes.
So I know since then also that there have been a few entries. Let me make sure. Plaintiff's request for questions, instructions, and definitions. There's the order granting the motion to compel. Well, some of these look like some of the trial dockets, but I mean, pre-trial documents.
But yeah, we had both the pretrial, Your Honor, final
Mhm.
pretrial, and we requested if we could present the motion to compel at the same time.
Okay. What's left outstanding? It's what we're scheduled for. I just wanted to make sure because it had been such a long time. What remains outstanding, Mr. Lopez? Or Mr.
I'll allow Mr. Hirsch to handle this motion, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Hirsch, go right ahead.
Thank you, Judge. So we had propounded discovery on the defendants under rules 194, the request for disclosure, 196, request for production, 197 interrogatories, and 198 requests for admissions. And we propounded those on both defendants, Gustavo Cardenas and Altum Trading Systems LLC. Those were propounded back on February 10th, 2020. As of May 21, 2020, we had not received any responses to any of the discovery, and we sent a letter to Mr. Soto requesting responses or to confer on the discovery. In April 7, 2021, we sent another letter to Mr. Soto and received a reply from him that the next week he would be responding to the discovery. The next week came, and instead of the discovery, there were some other pleadings filed. And so we filed our motion to compel on April 15th, 2021, and requested sanctions of $500 for preparing the motion under Rule 215.3, which allows this court under its sound discretion to award the sanctions as provided by Rule 215.2B. On October 14th, 2022, we went ahead and filed a motion to deem the facts admitted in the request for admission and submitted that to the court, and again requested that there be sanctions under Rule 215 under this court's discretion.
Okay.
And so far, Your Honor, nothing has been responded to. I mean, we haven't received a single document, response to an interrogatory, just nothing. We did, go ahead, Mike.
We did receive disclosures though.
Right, those were the two I saw, and I didn't see anything else, and those were, I think, right about at the same time, right, the April 2021 timeframe. Let me go back. But it was just the disclosures, right, on 4/20, Cardenas response to disclosures and Altum trading response, but I didn't see anything else. All right, do you have anything else, Mr. Hirsch?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Soto?
Yes, Your Honor, I mean, I agree with the facts that Mr. Hirsch has stated. We're not opposed to responding. I just, the COVID has really put a strain on my practice. I had almost a year without staff, and what I had proposed to Mr. Lopez was that he would allow us to provide the responses by November 15th. He responded that maybe the court could set a final deadline for that. And that's what I'm asking the court to consider.
And the reason why I said no to November 15th, Your Honor, if I'm allowed,
Mhm.
we are set for depositions on November 14th. And I think that it is important that we have all the documents that we're requesting to be produced so that we can handle the proper deposition on the 14th. Mr. Soto agreed to that date. It's been scheduled with the court reporter. So, I mean, a day, 2 days, 3 days before, I think that he could make it. And we just need that because we're set for trial in December. We just want to be ready. And this case has been pushed too many times and we don't want to have to push it again.
Mr. Lopez, so I'm clear, make sure I heard correctly. The deposition is on the 14th of November?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you all had agreed to the 15th of November to be the deadline?
No, Mr.
No.
Soto wanted it to be the 15th, but that's a date after the deposition. So we do need the
Right.
production to be responded to so we can handle a proper deposition of the defendant, Your Honor.
Okay, so this is all what's.
Your Honor,
Yes,
yeah, if I may, Your Honor, I mean, if Mr. Lopez would agree to the 12th, it's a Saturday, I could work with it.
No. Okay, so with respect to the motion to compel, and honestly, I feel like there's a subsequent motion, right? The August 2022. Let me go back and look.
I mean, Your Honor, I have hired staff now, so I'm starting to move a little faster. But I'm not where I need.
Yeah, I'm afraid that what this is really looking, when I went back and I looked at the history of this case, I think we had there's been a total of 4 continuances that you have filed, Mr. Soto. 2 have been because of complications, I guess, with respect to COVID circumstances. And those really spanned over about a year and a half. Okay, so honestly, staff or no staff, these are things that need to be accomplished. Hold on. And then we had another one. I think it was because you said it was tax season. You're very busy. Court granted it. And now again, I think you're even asking for a continuance of this December trial date, if I'm not mistaken. There's been nothing done on this case really in terms of any responses that have been on the books for at least 2 years, more than 2 years. I mean, their responses to discovery requests. I went through the requests that were attached. I mean, they're not substantively, I'm not commenting, but just in terms of the number of requests that are there, not anything that you yourself couldn't have accomplished from working with your client. So here's the deadline for everything. The deadline for everything is November 10th. I
Okay.
still think that that puts Mr. Hirsch and Mr. Lopez kind of behind the ball there, because they're going to have to make up in terms of what they have. to
So the
publish.
supplemental discovery that was sent yesterday,
Mr.
they have
Hernandez,
Bassett
I
at 46.
it just puts them behind the ball and trying to get ready for this deposition. So I will withhold ruling on the motion to compel, or the motion to compel is granted with respect to everything that's requested in the motion to compel. And then is there something else? Sorry, Mr. Hirsch, was there another pleading that encompassed more requests that have not been answered? I guess is what I'm asking.
Judge, we initially did it as a motion to compel, and then on October 14th filed the admissions as a motion to deem the facts admitted.
Okay, so the court will rule on that motion on the 10th if we do not have responses, as well as make a decision with respect to sanctions. But the motion to compel is granted. The deadline by which, Mr. Soto, all of those responses are to be served on the plaintiffs is the 10th of November by noon, because we're hitting a holiday on Friday, and I want to make sure I know if plaintiffs have received those.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Your Honor, also, we did file our pretrial documents. We filed and provided the jury instruction. We did file the list of witnesses. And I know that the list of exhibits was due today as well. We did not file it because we're hoping to get additional documents through the discovery. So if the court would give us a little bit of time as soon as we receive those responses, so that we can file our list of exhibits.
We're set for the 9th, right? I got away from your case here. Okay, so we are going to come back overall on the 30th of November for a final civil pretrial, so that I can touch base. I know we're going to kind of have an informal, I expect to hear from plaintiffs on the 10th about the responses that were received, not received, whatever the situation is on the 10th. With that said, we will have a hearing on the 30th at 11 a.m. via Zoom, so that if there's anything in the interim, if you need to file additional pleadings, requests, things of that nature, we address them then. I then will anticipate what was left. Mr. Lopez, what were you talking about? Sorry.
The list of exhibits.
List of exhibits. I think that'll be a good time to have that also provided to the court. So in terms of the deadline, it'll be extended to the 30th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Soto, what else do you have outstanding?
I don't have anything else, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, we will see you all on the 30th, but again, I'll expect to hear from you all next week. Okay,
Thank you, Your Honor.
thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
Yeah, who's next?
Staying on page 2, Judge. In cause number 2019 DCV.
Mr. Hirsch? Oh, no, I think he left. Sorry, let me just check. Mr. Hirsch, are you still there?
Yes, I was just about to log
I
off.
know, I thought I was going to catch you before you left. On the motion to compel, I just think there's so many things kind of floating around in my email and here in hard copy. Can you send me an order on the motion to compel, please?
Yes, and I'll send it in Word format because it
Perfect.
included the admissions.
Yes, thank you very much.
Judge.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Marufo.
In cause number 2019 DCV 1342, Brisa Delfina Brambilla et al. Versus David Jose Torres and HD Supply Inc. Announcement of council, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. John Alfiero from Nova Law Firm on behalf of the plaintiff.
Good morning, Your Honor. Dan Hernandez on behalf of the defendants.
Mr. Hernandez, you were so eager to get in on our hearing. We caught a snippet of you
No way. I'm sorry about that, Judge.
taking care of business somewhere else. I was like, sounds interesting.
I am so sorry, Judge.
No worries. It's Zoom.
Those little dial sometimes disappear on my face and I get,
Hey, there was one day when I don't know what I thought I was acknowledging as a message on Zoom, and what I really did was leave, and I left like 3 times, not realizing like I was hitting the wrong button. So
I tell you what, this stuff is tricky. You better watch what you say. I hope I didn't
it's
offend
more-
anybody.
we're so comfortable with it. I think that.
I think so.
Let me find your case. Hold on. Let me
Thank
get
you,
it.
Judge.
But so you all are also set on December 9th, right? And I think you all are ready.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ready.
Defendant is ready.
Why am I not seeing? Okay, give me a second. All right. Okay, yeah, this jives with everything that I remember we've discussed before. Okay, so I know there's at least one other case on that trial date that has the potential of going. Anything in particular, like do you all have witnesses that are coming in from out of town or anything like that, or you're okay to be on standby? Yours is an older case. So in terms of, our non-inmate criminal cases, you all are right up there. So we'll just leave it. We'll leave it like that. I'm not going to bring you back until we'll see you on the docket call.
Yes, Your Honor. There just a couple of items to just give the judge some advanced information. So this is a case that involves 2 plaintiffs in essence, Judge. It's a brother and a sister. The brother was a minor at the time that the lawsuit was filed, but he's been an adult now for the last 2 years. I've had conversations with plaintiff's counsel, not Mr.
Alfiero.
Alfiero, but with Russell Murray. I've asked him to amend the petition because the minor is an adult now. We want to make sure that when we get the final judgment on this case that we have that cleared up. So that hasn't been done.
Okay.
So we'd like to see if that can be done. We do have one last deposition that we're taking at the end of the month of my driver who is out of town. And that's the reason we're taking his deposition, Your Honor. But other than that, I don't see any other things other than the typical motion in limine and other things like that, Judge. But we're ready to go.
Okay, let me ask this, just because I'm not looking through all the events and it's did we attempt to mediate this?
Yes, Your Honor, we did.
Okay, all right.
It was
I
in
thought,
fact, it was in the last 30 days, Judge, we mediated.
okay, beautiful. All right, then I think I will bring you back also on the 30th. Okay, so let's do the 30th at 11 a.m. It will also help me give you better direction in terms of where you stand for that trial date. Okay.
Your Honor, just one tiny request. The 30th is the day of the deposition of Mr. Torres.
Oh, okay.
So I apologize for that.
So that doesn't leave a lot of time.
I'm sorry, Judge.
How about on the 1st of December? You'll be in the middle of my criminal stuff, but at least I don't want to wait until the 7th to get any more, important details before we look at the trial setting. So we'll do December 1st at 11 a.m. as well.
That is perfect, Your Honor. Thank you so much for accommodating us.
No problem. Take care, guys.
Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize for the interruption, okay?
No worries. Who's next?
Staying on page 2, Judge. In cause number 2022, DCV 2121, River Oaks Property LTD versus Latonia Armendariz et al. Announcement of council, please.
Stuart Schwartz on behalf of the plaintiff, River Oaks.
Good morning, Mr. Schwartz. And just to be clear, no one on behalf of Latonia Armendariz. No, we're scheduled for default. Wasn't there someone here, Mr. Schwartz, at the last setting when I was asking to go forward on the motion for default?
I don't believe anybody's appeared, Judge.
No, okay. I thought I was asking about that last setting that we had and that somebody was here. All right. Ms. Hernandez, Mr. Manufo, any contacts on this case from anyone on defense?
No, Judge.
No, ma'am.
All righty, Mr. Schwartz, you may proceed on your default.
Thank you, Judge. We've submitted our motion as well as the affidavit of River Oaks and my affidavit with respect to attorney's fees. The River Oaks affidavit describes the terms of the lease, attaches the lease and the amendment to the lease, and describes the attempts that were made to mitigate damages in accordance with the terms of the lease. Those efforts unfortunately failed. We have also attached to the affidavit of River Oaks an accounting of what remains due on the lease. It's approximately $82,000 through the end of the lease term. And then we've asked for attorney's fees of $4,000. We have supplied the court with a proposed judgment in that matter and asked that the court award judgment in accordance with the affidavit and the supports attached to the motion.
Thank you for all of that, Mr. Schwartz, and also thank you for providing the hard copy. As much as we are in a digital age, I still do appreciate when you all send those over because it just makes things a lot neater. Your request for default has been granted. I had reviewed the documents and the attachments as well as the proposed judgment, and so I have signed off on that. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you have for the court?
No, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Okay, have a good day. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Who's next?
Bottom of page 3, Judge.
Uh-huh.
In cause number 2022 DCV 1735 Wells Fargo Bank NA versus Elizabeth Lozano. Announcement of council, please.
Good morning again, Your Honor. Benjamin Joseph Gutierrez on behalf of Wells Fargo, ready to proceed for a motion of default judgment.
Give me 1 second. And Mr. Gutierrez, you know what I'm going to ask? Was there a notice of today's hearing served or attempted to be served on Ms. Lozano?
Your Honor, I knew you were going to ask that. And I just sent an email since I realized it was a different firm than the prior that I just appeared for. So this one, I don't know the answer. I didn't see it readily in front of me. The only thing I was going to denote, I don't know what the notice from October 27th is.
Right. Let me look into that. It's an amended notice of hearing. And if that's from your office, but it was sent out on the 27th and we were set today. So that to me is certainly not enough time. So we're going to push this out 60 days. We're going to reset it 60 days, please. It has been reset at least once before. So I can only think that that's the only reason we reset it was because we did not have that notice. So Myrna, if you will set them for a default in 60 days and please provide the notice of hearing your attempt to serve Ms. Lozano with that notice of hearing.
Understood, Your Honor.
Okay, next.
Page 4, Judge.
Uh-huh.
In cause number 2021 DCV 2970 Camelia A. Castillo et al. Versus Transnational Transportation Services et al. Announcement of council, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Andrew Cavazos on behalf of the plaintiffs.
Good morning.
And Chester McCaskey on behalf of defendants, Judge.
Good morning. I have this down for, well, wait a minute. Looking at the entries, I have this down for entry of judgment for defendants Bynum and Martin Services.
Yes, Your Honor, no entry of judgment is necessary. We've actually settled this case. We're just awaiting on the settlement funds, and then we will file motions to dismiss the lawsuit.
That's probably what we were anticipating even if we did entry of judgment because we have one dismissal. How much of a turnaround do you think you might need to get that accomplished?
Judge, we received the executed settlement agreement, I think maybe about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
So that starts the process for the folks on my side to get everything done. Mr. Cavazos has provided his W-9 already. That's been provided to the folks paying it out as well as the payment instructions. So I have my fingers crossed it will be done within 2 or 3 weeks.
So I'm going to say 30 days then. That makes me excited. Okay, so December 7th, December 7th, we'll have this for a dismissal hearing. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judge.
All right. Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Top of page 5, Judge. In cause number 2022 DCV 0769 Platinum Flats Carriers et al. Versus Platinum Flats Carrier LLC et al. Announcement of council, please.
Ms. Stone, you're muted.
I apologize for that. Thank you, Your Honor.
No worries. Is this the, who's here on behalf of defendants?
I don't know. I haven't seen anybody this morning, but I did get contacted last night by a Dr. Pescador, who is one of the, I guess, the executive officers of one of the LLC defendant.
Ms. Stone, let me ask you to hold on just 1 second. Ms. Cruz, just so you know, with the referral order, you all will be receiving settings from Judge Alcala now.
Okay.
Unless you're here to tell me it's settled, then
I wish. I wanted to make sure that I showed up for the 10:45 if you
I
still wanted
appreciate
us.
that. I apologize. I failed to remove the settings. They generally set you up with a status conference and then get some stuff.
Thank you, Judge.
Take
Thank you.
care. All
You
right.
too.
Ms. Stone, I apologize. I think this is a case that I think had been set a couple of times with a backup judge. And maybe once, I think you all requested a cancellation, right? That
So it was me. I had a calendar conflict that I didn't
Okay.
know was on my calendar. And so I agreed to a date that during the hearing, it was October 18th. I agreed to that date, but there was a conflict on my calendar. I had
No worries. No
Sure.
worries. I just wanted to make sure I understood. Yes, Mr. Marufo?
I do have a Dr. Jose Pablo Pascuador in the waiting area. Ms. Stone mentioned his name earlier.
Okay, well, let's bring them in. So I'll be very candid right now, and we'll wait for him to come in. I remember Judge Reyes just, I guess, mentioning some difficulty, and so I'm not sure I fully understood. Let me let Mr. Or Dr. Pescador, are you there? If so, please turn on your camera.
I don't think he's connected, Judge.
He's not? Just bear with me, Miss Stone. There he is. Mr. Or Dr. Pescador, if you could unmute, please. Sir, are you representing yourself in this case? Or an entity? Yeah, I can't see that he's connected to audio. I chatted him to get connected to audio. Dr. Pescador, we cannot hear you.
He looks frozen now.
All right, I'm gonna kick him out and then we can see if we can get
Can you
him.
hear me now?
Oh, yes, Dr. Pescador?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, this is Judge Perez. So, okay, got your chat. Are you representing yourself in this case or an entity? Who are you here on behalf of?
Ma'am, I'm the Chief Financial Officer for Platinum Flats, and so I'm the Executive Officer. Just in the last couple of days, I was able to interview and talk to an attorney to represent this case. I asked Ms. Stone if we could, on his behalf, if we can go ahead and do a continuance for 2 weeks so that he can come into the case.
I can't tell. Are you frozen or are you? Okay. I think your internet is freezing up just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you caught, but what I was explaining is that I'm the Chief Financial Officer for Platinum Flats, and I have just now interviewed and contacted an attorney to represent us in this case. And he asked for us to ask for a continuance so that he can go ahead and review the case and appropriately be able to represent us.
Who filed the, let me see.
The answer,
Who filed the answer?
I filed the answer, ma'am, and in this case, the reason I filed it was because I saw the deadline and I needed to act and just at least send our version, even though it may, it's not coming from an attorney. I'm not an attorney, but I just found the need to answer rather than just leave it blank.
Okay. So, I think I had reviewed the TRO after the last either hearing that was with Judge Reyes. I can't remember if it was that or after the time when it got reset or in preparation for the time that it was reset, that hearing. So I need to ask Ms. Stone, let me just say it sounds like there's a request for 2 weeks. The nature of your request to me did seem to be time sensitive. So even one delay to me was brought concern. But I can tell you, Dr. Pescador, as you're sitting here right now, we're set for the temporary restraining order hearing. And I don't see any entries by any attorneys. Any request that you are making for extra time would not go beyond a week. I'll tell you that for sure. So, Ms. Stone, what's your response to that?
Thank you, Your Honor. I did get contacted by Mr. Pescador as he advised yesterday. Mr. Pescador is new, or Dr. Pescador is new to the case. He apparently was hired very recently as the Chief Financial Officer of Platinum Flats. I understand that perfectly. My problem is that the prior attorney who was representing Platinum Flats and Jose Castillo, he quit because Jose Castillo was not contacting his attorney. And then this is on the docket. I'm not saying anything that, there's not, it's up record that he stopped contacting his attorney. And he also stopped, I believe the pleading shows that he stopped paying him. So what's to stop that from happening now? Name is Bill Hunter, I believe. And Bill Hunter contacted me because Jose Castillo.
That was the attorney?
Yes, Bill Hunter. Yeah, he contacted me because Jose Castillo recently recontacted him to rehire him. So I know it's kind of like a canned statement, but there's no just reason for delay. My client, the evidence is going to show his credit is being negatively impacted and has been for like nearly a year now because it's tied to some of the assets that were taken from what the evidence is going to show were taken from the company's property. And so all we're asking to do is just to maintain the status quo. We need to have this TRO. We're not asking for a trial on the merits of the case, but there was property of the company that was removed. There were assets of the company's bank account that were removed. We are constantly being threatened with repossession of some of the trucks that are now in Jose Castillo's possession that he took from the company. And we need to get those back so that we can put them in operation for the partnership. So that is our position. Yes, even a week is too, because we've now, it's been a while since we had to file the TRO. We had to wait, and we're here, and we're ready, Your Honor, to put on our testimony and documents for our TRO.
So, Dr. Pescador, I assume, when were you hired as CFO?
It's actually it hasn't been recently. I've been on the case for, I would say, right about maybe 8-9 months now. And I can tell you there's a lot of information that I do have that's going to show that Mr. Jose Castillo did not do the things that Ms. Stone is alleging. There's plenty of evidence. I conducted a forensic audit on the case, and I found a lot of damaging evidence against Mr. Jose Castillo. And Mr. Jose Castillo did not remove any assets, as Ms. Stone is stating. And this is why I'm asking, just for a week of continuance, Because I can now lay the case with the facts, with the proper attorney, so that he can discuss the case in a legal basis, in front of the court.
Is Mr. Castillo going to be here?
He won't be able, he's not gonna be here today because he's driving, he's out on the road. There was, we thought at this point, there was no reason for him to be present because we just didn't have the legal background for us to be able to argue our point.
May I, brief response, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
We'd like to then move for an oral default judgment since Mr. Jose Castillo, he was served and he agreed to this continuance and he's not here. So we're asking for a default judgment on the TRO based on the evidence that is stated, that the allegations that are stated, we're asking for a default judgment.
If you are, then file your motion and I'll set that for hearing. We're
Thank
here
you.
on the temporary restraining order, Dr. Pescador. I see an answer that you submitted on behalf of the entity, or did you and Mr. Castillo sign off on both answers?
We both signed off that, Your Honor, and just as, just to answer Ms. Stone, on the default,
Listen,
did come on
I'm
the
not
case.
hearing Dr. Pescador, I am not hearing a default today. We are here on a temporary restraining order.
Right.
You and Mr. Castillo jointly filed answers in response to that TRO.
Yes,
I
we did.
understand what your request is now about having an attorney. Frankly, I don't know why that attorney has not entered an appearance and appeared here today. With that said, what do you have in response to the request for a temporary restraining order?
As a response, Your Honor, is that what Ms. Stone is alleging is not correct. I have evidence in where Mr. Domingo Castillo basically committed fraud and also embezzlement. And so what we proposed was, the best route is to have a dissolution, dissolve the company, conduct a dissolution. But Ms. Stone proposed that Mr. Domingo Castillo would handle that and go to the restraining order. What I proposed was, I said, look, let's jointly dissolve the company. That way, we both parties can protect their interest and jointly dissolve the company amicably.
The application itself is a TRO pending dissolution of the partnership. What substantively about the TRO, is there an objection to Mr. or Dr. Pescador?
Yes, ma'am, there is an objection because if it's granted, then Mr. Jose Castillo is going to be damaged because he has no property from the company, and he has no access to the bank accounts as is being stated. So what I'm saying is that if the restraining order is in fact granted, Mr. Castillo is going to be damaged because his credit is going to be ruined, and also all the assets will be dissolved without any consultation to him.
Response, Your Honor?
Dr. Pescador, is that everything?
Yeah, that's what I have, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, Ms. Stone.
I just want to briefly, Your Honor, state my client is here. He has been here. He was here at the last hearing. He's ready to testify on the TRO motion.
Which is your client? Is it Mr. Murphy?
It's Domingo Castillo.
Domingo Castillo.
I show Lluvia Castillo, Judge, in the waiting area.
That possibly is his wife's name on their Zoom.
Oh, Joshua. Vega. Will Lluvia Castillo please unmute and turn on your camera? Who is Jesus Jimenez that keeps trying to come in? Is that on another case or is that on this case?
I think it's another case, Judge.
It's another case, Judge.
There's
It's actually Domingo Castillo.
Ms. Stone, is that your I'm sorry, is that your client?
Domingo Castillo is our client, Your Honor. Yes.
Okay. Did you want to call him as a witness on the TRO?
I did want to call him as a witness on the TRO, and we also had exhibits. I learned this morning that our paralegal did not provide a copy to the court. I don't know if you want to take a brief recess. We did have evidence, a documentary evidence. I did present 6 of those documents during the last hearing to the court reporter.
Are they attached? Are they the attachments to the application?
We did not attach them to the application because they are, you know, they would be offered into evidence during the TRO hearing. So I thought it inappropriate to attach them as evidence without another hearing.
Okay. So the exhibits that are attached to your application are not the documents that you're referring to right now?
If there are attachments to the application, yes, Your Honor. Those are what I'm referring to. But we did want to present live testimony as well, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr.
So if they
Castillo.
were attached to the application, I can view them on Odyssey. I see them here.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure I understood you were talking about additional documents. So on the TRO, you're calling your client?
Yes.
Sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you've been called as a witness in this case on the application for a temporary restraining order. I need to swear you in. Would you raise your right hand, please? Sir, do you swear or affirm that any testimony you provide will be the truth and the whole truth?
Yes.
Thank you very much. You can put your hand down. I hope you are not driving. You are not
No,
driving.
ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Stone. You may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Castillo, can you state your name for the record, including any middle name if you have one?
Domingo Jr. Castillo.
And can you tell the court what Platinum Flats Carriers LLC is?
It was a partnership between my brother and I. We used to do transportation. That's basically what it is.
Okay. And did you have a partnership agreement?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And what is the status currently of Platinum Flats Carriers LLC?
At the moment, it's not operating. What do you mean what do you mean by status?
Is it a registered or a company in Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
And it is current?
Yes.
Okay. And what is your relationship with Platinum Flats Carriers LLC presently?
Owner.
Okay. And who is Jose Castillo?
He was part owner as well.
And when you say was part owner, describe that. Why is he was?
Well, I'm guessing he's still legally part owner at the moment because we're trying to do the transition.
The transition to
remove him.
Okay. All right. And do you know what Platinum Flats LLC is?
Platinum Flat. I believe that's his new company.
And
My brother's, Jose Castillo's company.
And tell the court about that, his new company. Why did he have to have a new company?
That's when we both decided to split due to some disagreements in how the business was getting run. And we had a talk, and from there he just decided to go his own way and open up his own company named as Platinum Flats LLC.
And what actions did he take with any property of Platinum Flats Carriers LLC?
Well, he actually took most of the equipment to his property yard
And describe the equipment that he took.
He took from what we had, he took 2 trucks and 3 trailers.
And are those trucks and trailers still in his possession?
From what I believe, yes.
And are they current on, are any of those trucks and trailers, do they have any lending attached to them?
Yes, one equipment.
And what is the what is the current status of the lending that is attached to that truck or trailer?
It's still financed, or what do you mean as in current?
Is it current? Is the loan financed? Is the loan current?
Oh, no, it's actually in default as we speak.
Is there a threat of repossession?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is the current status of the threat of repossession? Is it imminent? Is it going to happen tomorrow?
No.
What are you being told?
Well, I actually got a call yesterday from the actual lending source regarding that payment. So it's still ongoing, I guess, in the oh, it's still going. Apparently it's still going. But we had this issue like 3 months ago.
Were you told that Jose Castillo tried to make a payment on that financing?
Yes, he tried to make a payment, but for some reason their funding didn't go through. That's what I've been told.
So the check didn't clear?
Yes, ma'am.
And did that happen more than once that Jose Castillo tried to make a payment and it didn't clear?
From what I know, it's only been once.
Okay.
And this is actually the second time because that's the call I got yesterday.
Okay. Is Jose Castillo taking money out of Platinum Flats Carriers asset accounts in the last 12 months?
At the beginning, yes.
And describe that for the court. What assets did he remove from Platinum Flats Carriers asset accounts?
Assets.
Money.
You mean like total?
Correct. What's the total amount that Jose Castillo has removed from Platinum Flats Carriers checking account?
I don't have a specific number for that.
Give a ballpark figure. Is it 20,000? 10,000?
Yeah, like around 15.
About 15,000?
Yeah.
And to your knowledge, what did he do with that money?
That I don't know, man.
Did he use it to help Platinum Flats Carriers LLC?
No, ma'am.
To your knowledge, what work has Jose Castillo done to support Platinum Flats Carriers LLC since the disagreement began in August 2021?
None whatsoever.
I have no further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Dr. Pescador, do you have any questions for Mr. Castillo?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Mr. Castillo, is there a partnership agreement signed by you and Mr. Jose Castillo stating what role each one plays?
Yes, sir. We have a partnership agreement signed by both parties.
And that anywhere, I never saw that, and I asked for that before, but okay, but so you say you have it. I never saw that. Ms. Stone, do we have such an agreement on file?
The agreement is attached to the TRO petition that you're here to appearing on the company on behalf of.
Okay, I remember I saw the articles of incorporation, but not the partnership agreement, but that's fine. The now you stating that Mr. Castillo removed approximately $15,000 from the business account at the beginning. At the beginning meeting when, Mr. Castillo?
When we had the disagreement and that disagreement, when we decided to each try to go our own ways.
Okay, so that will be back in August of 2021?
It should be around there.
Okay. So have you provided Mr. Jose Castillo any information on the financials of Platinum Flats Carriers from August 2021 till today?
August 2021 till today?
Yes, have you provided Mr. Jose Castillo any financial information?
Objection relevance.
Overruled.
No.
Okay, now, as of today, you do recognize that Mr. Jose Castillo is still 50% ownership of Platinum Flats Carriers?
Yes.
Okay, So will he be entitled to know the financial position and the financial situation of Platinum Flats carriers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your Honor, that's all I have. I don't have any other questions because most of it is going to be hearsay. But I would like to comment that based on this information.
Hold on, Dr. Pescador, before you comment, Ms. Stone, do you have any other questions for your client?
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay,
But
thank you,
I
Mr.
do have an objection to a
Well,
statement.
hold on a second. Thank you, Mr. Castillo. I'm going to go ahead and mute you for now, but you can go ahead and stay on. All right, go ahead, Ms. Stone. Did you have another witness?
I don't have any further witnesses, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to place an objection to Mr. Pescador or Dr. Pescador making a statement on behalf of the corporation.
What statement are you talking about?
He just told you he's about to make some statements.
Well, I haven't heard it yet. So, okay. Dr. Pescador, did you have something else for the court on the temporary restraining order?
Yes, ma'am. As the Chief Executive Officer and Chief Financial Officer of Platinum Flats, I see that the restraining order would be damaging to Mr. Jose Castillo. There is no information that we are receiving from Mr. Domingo Castillo in reference to the financial status of Platinum Flats carriers. Based on that, there's a lot of concern to us on whether those funds are being handled appropriately. So basically, that's my stand. That's why I strongly object to the order. I just think it would be very damaging.
All right. So I feel like that was an argument. Ms. Stone, did you have anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
So the request, I don't recall if I've received, and every time that this has been reset, the actual proposed temporary order. Ms. Stone, can you provide that, please? I did get the exhibits, which appear to be the same exhibits to your application, but Ms. Wright, our court reporter, did provide those to me.
Right away, Your Honor.
I'm just looking at your application for TR says, in terms of the relief requested, enjoin defendants from or prohibit defendants from operating flats. I'm assuming you mean flats carriers, right?
Not carriers. No, he has a competing, he has a competing enterprise called Platinum Flats. It just subtracts the term carriers.
Got it. I was the other way around. Require Jose Castillo to immediately bring current all loan accounts. And require defendants to return PSC property that Jose Castillo previously. You have a proposed order, Ms. Stone?
I'll send the proposed order right away, Your Honor. Do you want us to file it or email it?
Email it to Ms. Hernandez. Is there additional, your client testified, I think it was 2 trucks and 3 trailers. Is there additional property that we have concerns about? What is the additional property that plaintiffs have concern about that might be transferred?
May I allow Mr. Domingo Castillo to speak to that, Your Honor?
Or do you not know, Ms. Stone?
I just know that there's a list. We have a list of property that was removed, and what I can speak to is that. Okay. Yeah, I would refer to the list.
Okay, so with respect to the TRO and the relief requested, I'm going to grant the TRO as to what is listed in your petition as 1 and 2. I am not going to grant a return of the property right now because I think that is subject to whatever this pending dissolution is. However, what I do want there to be stated in the TRO is that there shall be no other transfer of any property until such time that you all are going to sit down and actually dissolve this. So Ms. Stone, I've got to think that there is some amending to your proposed order. If you will add some language there and send it over in Word format, I'd like to get that done by the end of the day. So if you can do that quickly, I think, I hope I'm kind of making myself a little clear about where I am with this. And then Dr. Pescador, I haven't forgotten that what you're representing on behalf of your clients is that there will be, well, I see your clients, is that someone's going to enter an appearance. So I expect to see that very soon. I'm going to bring you all back on November 30th at 11 a.m. Are you all local? Is everybody local?
No. I have an office local, ma'am, so we're local also.
Okay, so for now, that November 30th hearing will be via Zoom.
Yeah, I'm not local, Your Honor.
Okay.
11:30, did you say 11 o'clock or 11:30?
I'm 11.
Okay.
November 30th at 11. Okay.
You'll have the order before, within the hour, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Pescador, make sure if you all have hired someone that person makes an appearance before that November 30th hearing, okay?
Will do. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. McLean. I tried to send you a chat because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and I couldn't respond to the chat because the chat
Okay.
wasn't able to, but I went and changed my name when y'all let me in. So,
Okay.
on mine, Judge, I haven't got them served. If you would, I can file a notice of non-suit, or if the court would rather enter a DWAP, whatever your preference is.
Okay, so why don't you send me a non-suit and I'll sign the order.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll have you set for status in 1 week in the event we don't get it accomplished for some reason or something comes up. Okay.
Yeah, it's good to keep my feet to the fire.
Okay. All right, who's next?
Top of page 3, Judge. In cause number 2022 DCB 0737 Adalberto Ramirez versus Jesus Jimenez et al. Announcement of council, please.
Enrique Lopez on behalf of the plaintiffs, Adalberto Ramirez.
Where is Jesus Jimenez?
That's the one that's been trying to log in,
Yes,
but
they
he's
need to
having
come
trouble.
in. Mr. Jimenez, can you put on your camera, please? Mr. Jimenez, are you connected to audio? Do we know, have you spoken with this individual before? Mr. Lopez?
No, Your Honor, I know he was served, he did not file an answer, and that's why we set it for default. We notified him of the default and apparently he's showing up now.
Do we have, how did we get notice to him? Do we have a physical address?
Judge,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez called the court yesterday and said he had gotten notice to appear. And I gave him the Zoom meeting ID number, that's all.
Okay, so do we still have his contact information? He's not responding here. Do we have a telephone number for Mr. Jimenez?
I didn't get that, Judge. I only provided the meeting ID number.
Okay. So we're going to set this for 30 days out for an in-person default hearing. So we need to get any contact information we have for Mr. Jimenez to provide him notice so that he can be here in person because this Zoom does not seem to be working. I know we've reset this in the past, Mr. Lopez, so let us take a shot. We might have to go into January. I'm just thinking of how we're going to schedule this. We may have to go into January, but it will be in person, and we need to confirm that we have notice sent to Mr. Jimenez for him to appear in person. If at that point we get that taken care of, Mr. Lopez, and we still can't get it done, taking out the technical, I guess, hurdles, we can go forward on your default, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Who's next?
Page 5, Judge, middle page 5.
Huh?
In cause number 2022 DCV 1751, Wells Fargo Bank NA versus Abraham Valdez. Announcement of council, please.
Benjamin Joseph Gutierrez on behalf of Wells Fargo. Ready to proceed on motion for default judgment. Pretty likely the court is going to have an issue with that, though.
Okay, is this about notice?
Yes, Your Honor, it's the same situation.
I'm gonna set it for DWAP in 2 weeks. Every case is the same, Mr. Gutierrez. You never have notice to your defendants. So DWAP in 2 weeks.
Understood, Your Honor. Thank you.
Who's next?
Bottom of page 1, Judge. In cause number 2020 DCV 1232, Eileen Ramirez versus Melanie J. Lamas. Announcement of council, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Gabriela Marquez for defendants. I've been in conversation with counsel, plaintiff's counsel. He did advise that he was having issues. We can connect him on phone if you would prefer. If not, I'd be more than happy to provide an update to the court on both matters.
He hasn't called in?
I'm not sure if he did, but I have been in communication with him. I do not know if he did communicate with court staff. I understand that he was having issues.
Court staff?
Judge, I called his office twice. They said the first time they said he was trying to connect, he couldn't. Second time they told me he was out on vacation. He was out of the office, but he was going to try to connect, and he hasn't checked in.
So
I've had no contacted.
Do we have a vacation certificate?
I will check.
File? No? Yeah. We'll be waiting for him to log on.
And then okay. Let me advise him.
Is that the last case, Mr. Manufo?
Judge, on page 2, middle of page 2, in cause number ending in 1927, I've been trying to get a hold of Mr. Gorman Keith. That number comes back as disconnected.